Non, pas devant, pas devant. Pas... Vous ne pouvez pas rester là, quoi.
Nous sommes très heureux avec le président de la République, Emmanuel Macron, que vous aurez l'occasion de rencontrer dans quelques instants, de voir que les États-Unis, après une parenthèse de 4 ans, ont rejoint l'accord sur le climat. Le climat, c'est l'enjeu principal de notre génération et l'enjeu principal des générations à venir.
And the president is hosting a summit. Will have to be virtual, obviously, still, which is complicated, but it is a summit that will reconvene the major emitting nations of the planet to bring them together to discuss the road to Glasgow and to discuss what all of us can do to meet the challenge of the scientists, which is to raise our ambition. 20 countries are the equivalent of 81% of all the emissions. Those 20 countries will come together in this virtual summit with an opportunity to try to meet the challenge of doing what is necessary to be able to hold the Earth's temperature to a warming of no more than 1.5 degrees centigrade Celsius, or as close as we can get to that, and to make sure that we leave the pathway to 2050 net zero as a real option.
Net zero in 2050. Will the US pledge to meet that?
We have every capacity to meet this challenge, all of us, and particularly the developed world, which has seen the vast majority of nations who emit way less than 1%, fractions of 1%. Many of them are the ones suffering the worst consequences of this crisis. And it is a crisis. But it's not a crisis that we call a crisis to alarm people or to say, this is not something that we can manage. We can manage this. But we know that to do that, we must make key decisions now in the next 8 months leading up to Glasgow. And Glasgow may well be our last best hope to be able to get the world on the track, to be able to grow our economies, improve our health, provide greater security, all at the same time as we reduce the challenge of what CO2 and other greenhouse gases are doing to transform this planet that we live on.
Are you disappointed about what we have seen of China's new 5-year plan? That doesn't seem to be very tough.
So everybody has to be part of it. As I said a moment ago, no one nation can make the difference here. If China went to zero tomorrow, we still have a problem unless the other nations are also reducing. But the point of the Paris Agreement was everybody accepted the goal. The point of Paris is that everybody said, we will get on this road. And the problem today is we're not on that road sufficiently. Even if everybody did everything that is set out in the Paris Agreement, the Earth's temperature will still rise to somewhere in the vicinity of 3.7 degrees or higher, because we're not doing everything set out in Paris. So this is a challenge for all of us. Well, I think it's...
I just want to emphasize the necessity of not pointing one country or another one, not putting the blame on any kind of country, but trying to do our home job and our homework and being as efficient as possible. I think that's clearly the key issue. How do we do to invest more in renewable energies? How do we do to fund disruptive technologies, hydrogen, and so on? I think that's the key question. And I'm really deeply convinced that putting the blame on one country or another one would not be the right way to come to an agreement and to come to concrete results in the fight against climate change.